while hundreds of thousands of marchers descended on the nation's capital, demanding gun reform legislation and gun control. A crowd of Second Amendment supporters gathered in Roanoke, Virginia, in front of the Doomsday Tactical Supply Store to show their support for the Second Amendment. The number of attendees at the event, that was held from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., exceeded well over 100 people. The highlight of the day was a speaking engagement by U.S. Senate hopeful Stewart.
For 3. Every mass shooting in America since 1950, except for 3, has occurred in a gun-free zone. You know, a gun-free zone is not a gun-free zone. A gun-free zone means that law-abiding citizens don't have guns. But that doesn't stop the criminals from having guns, does it? No. Why is it that we protect our money with guns and we protect our kids with signs? Why is it that the left, every time there's a shooting, they make this emotional appeal to Americans, especially to young Americans with impressionable minds? Everybody's heart breaks when there's a shooting in our schools. Everybody. And they're trying to portray like we don't care. The fact is, the left doesn't care.
Exactly.
They're exploiting these tragedies. They're exploiting these families. They're exploiting the deaths of these young people to try to push their left-wing, gun-grabbing ideology to try to disarm Americans, law-abiding Americans. And we're here to say today, we're not going to tolerate it, and we're going to fight back.
Stewart has made his name in Virginia statewide politics by defending the Second Amendment and being a vocal critic of illegal immigration. Stewart's speech today highlighted his support for the Second Amendment.
And in my county, Prince William County is the second largest locality in the state. I've been governing it. It's way up there in occupied territory.
Yes.
It's 465,000 residents. They voted for Hillary Clinton by 21 points. Only one Republican's been able to win it, and that's me. Not once, not twice, but 4 times. You know why? Because I get things done. A couple years ago, I don't think it's right. By the way, who doesn't think it's right that you should have to pay to exercise your Second Amendment rights? That isn't right, is it? So I led and became the first locality in the state to eliminate the concealed carry permit fee in Prince William County. That's what we got to do all over Virginia. We got to do that all over Virginia.
Bill Miller is the president of the Virginia Task Force 3% Dixie Defenders.
Protect our rights, and today our Second Amendment rights. If they take away our rights to own firearms, we're going to be sitting ducks because criminals don't obey any laws. No matter what law you put into effect, criminals are always going to do what they want to do. Even if you were to ban and take all firearms away, you're not going to get them all away. Criminals are still going to be able to get them. You can go out to any corner and buy a firearm in any city for $20, $30, whatever. Might be a little cheaper than what they are, but Second Amendment rights today, protection of our rights, because if they get our Second Amendment rights, the right to defend yourself, the right to survival, you're going to go on something else. The next step, they could be taking your religion away, telling you what you got to believe in. Or they could take your right to peaceful and quiet enjoyment in your own home, or tell you what kind of food you got to eat. I mean, anything. You know, so if we don't stand for this right, we're going to lose more rights, because once they get the notion at their head that they can take our rights away from us, it's going to be a non-stop thing.
While interacting with these Second Amendment rally goers,
M&P, AR-15.
Inside,
M&P 40.
You?
Anderson AR-15 and a Walther PPX 40.
How about you, sir?
AR pistol, 1911.
I got to know a little bit about this guy, Robert Sinclair III. Sinclair III is a former felon who turned it all around.
I used to be one of the worst criminals walking the streets of Roanoke. I mean, I was a 153-pound drug addict. You know, Don Caldwell and Betty Jo Anthony, both of them put me away. One gave me a chance, and then 32 days later, I walked in an undercover sting operation and went in front, and the other one put me away. I went away for 4 years and 10 months. But the difference for me was, I woke up one day in a 6x8 isolation cell in a maximum security prison in Augusta County, and I just said I had enough. Look, people change. And for me, it was accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior. That's what changed me. That might not be the thing for you, but I'm telling you, that's what worked for me.
Sinclair III told me what business used to be at the location where Doomsday Tactical Supply is now located.
This club called the Monster Bar. There was some bad activity going on here, you know, just underage people coming in, and activities of fighting, and you know, and a couple gunfire, you know, and then finally it erupted one night when 11 people were shot and one was killed, and they shut the place down. And as you can see now, this place is a gun store, and nobody's getting killed here now.
I was given exclusive access to the inside of Doomsday Tactical Supply. They had a wide array and variety of guns for sale, from handguns starting at a few $100 to this big guy right here that was priced close to $3,000. The store also had gun cleaning kits, bulletproof vests, which I priced, ammunition, and even coffee that is manufactured and packaged by the Black Rifle Coffee Company, which is a veteran-owned company that exclusively hires U.S. military veterans. The owner of the store, Mark Williams, was busy throughout the day, and I didn't get a chance to interview him on camera, but he did tell me business as well, and that last week he sold over 100 guns at a gun show, and he sells 5 to 10 guns a week in his store. Robert Kilpatrick is the vice president of the Virginia Task Force 3% Dixie Defenders.
Corey Stewart being here today was actually kind of a trip. I didn't expect him to be here. And when he showed up, I was one of the first ones to shake his hand. So having him here kind of reinforces my view that we need to actually defend the kids with the weapons being used against them. You can't expect a gun-free zone to be a gun-free zone when you got a bad guy looking to kill people. The only way to meet violence is to shoot back.
The man of the hour, Corey Stewart, had this to say.
You know, when I started in politics, I was a nice guy.
How long did that last?
Not long. But I've been brutalized. I've been brutalized by Democrats and liberals, and I've stood up to them, and that's how I win elections in Northern Virginia, and that's how we're going to win this November, and we're going to send Tim Kaine packing and retire Tim Kaine. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Stewart is no stranger to controversy, so when he said this during his speech,
Favorite firearm, AR-15.
Ah, there you go.
You know, we gave one away. That caused a little controversy. We gave one away. We might just do that again, I think. I think we're thinking about doing that again.
I had to ask him about it when I interviewed him.
The AR-15 raffle again.
Yeah.
This campaign, is that something you're really considering doing?
Yeah, it is. The only problem is, you know, there's all these organizations now online that will no longer, you know, help you out with a raffle of a firearm anymore. So we're trying to work through those kinks.
But
But
AR-15 this time, or?
we're thinking about an AR-15 or maybe another rifle.
The event was peaceful, and from my observation, it was a success for the organizers. No violence, no disputes, and no protesters, which leads one to wonder. On less than 2 acres of land, and 99% of the people there being heavily armed, and no injuries, or even anything as much as an argument, are guns really the problem?
And the left wants to sit there and say, oh no, we got to take away the guns, we got to protect the kids. Well, you have to look at the whole picture. You can't just blame an inanimate object. Because really, if I was to take my gun out right now and set it on the ground and say, go kill somebody, it wouldn't do anything.
In Roanoke, Theo Whitleow for Breaking Through.